Amy, if you'd like to start, can you give me kind of a story of why you feel like you're here for therapy?
Sure. So I think you know that before I was in individual therapy, and my other therapist referred me to you and to this counseling center because she really thought that I could benefit from maybe doing family therapy. So I definitely agree with her. Lately, there have been some issues with the girls at school, especially Samantha. She's really been struggling and acting out. And I don't know, it's just been very hectic lately, and I don't really know how to deal with all of it, and I don't really know how to deal with Samantha. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Okay, it sounds like you're having a little bit of hard time juggling some of the different aspects of your life right now. Does that sound kind of right?
Yeah, I definitely think that's my biggest problem. You know, I am a single mom, and dealing with two preteen girls can be a lot. So, yeah, it's definitely stressful.
I hear you. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing. And then, Tom, I'd kind of like to hear as to why you feel like you're here.
Well, yeah, to kind of rephrase what Marlene said, I mean, I think a definite aspect of that is that Samantha is struggling in school. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much the kind of key thing.
Right, and Samantha, then I'd like to hop to you. It kind of sounds like Arlene and Tom have both said that you're having a little bit of trouble with school. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think me and my sister both kind of don't have the best grades right now, but I got in trouble at school, but I think it was just kind of a misunderstanding. I don't really feel like I did anything really wrong. I feel like it kind of got blown out of proportion. It was just kind of an awkward situation at school that I don't really think was my fault, and I don't know why everyone's kind of putting it on me.
Okay. It sounds like there's a little bit of confusion on maybe some of the stories and what kind of is happening. So we're going to get into that a little bit and talk as a family together. So Laura, would you like to share as to why you're here? Okay. Well, I can see that you don't feel like talking right now. That's fine. Maybe we can go back to you later. Does that sound okay? Okay, great. And so I'm gonna just ask a couple questions now, and we're gonna kind of get down to the nitty gritty. And so I'm gonna have Arlene and Samantha talk a little bit about the school issues. And so Arlene, could you please express to Samantha a little bit of how you feel about the troubles that are happening in school with her?
Sure. So, Samantha, you already kind of know how I feel about this. It's very hard for me to juggle work and finances and raising you two, and I feel like you getting into trouble at school and your grades slipping, it's a lot to handle. It's very stressful, and I think you could be doing a lot better. I know you're more capable than you are displaying right now, and I really don't understand why you've been having so many issues. You know, you kind of say that it's a one-off incident, but I don't know if I believe that.
Samantha?
Well, you say that you have to worry about all of us, but I mean, you kind of don't have to worry about me. You could just trust me to figure it out on my own, and you could just quit worrying about me and don't make me the thing that is just another thing that you're stressed out about, since you're so stressed out all the time. Maybe if you just quit worrying about what me and Laura were doing, you wouldn't be so stressed out.
That was a great conversation. Thank you very much for keeping that simple and for getting your point across to each other. Now, do have a question for you, Arlene. So, since you are having a little bit of difficulty juggling all of this stuff, how do you help yourself with the stress that comes with juggling?
How do I help myself?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really have a lot of things in place that do help me, and that's kind of why I was seeing a therapist beforehand. You know, it was just very overwhelming, and I was finding it hard to deal with different things, and like I really didn't have a lot of things in place that did help me. You know, my ex-husband, he's very inconsistent. He doesn't really help with anything. My in-laws, they just add more stress to my life. You know, I don't really have a lot of support. I do have Tom, which he's great, but I don't know. I don't always feel comfortable letting him into the family like that, and I'd rather just deal with things on my own. So.
Okay. And Tom, thank you for standing by for just a second. But I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what Arlene just said. And so it kind of sounds like Arlene's having a little bit of trouble juggling things. Is that something that you would like to go for?
I would. I've tried, and I do help at times when they let me. And I would enjoy to be maybe a little bit more a part of the family than I currently am. Not to take over or anything, but sometimes it just feels like I'm asked to help when it just gets to like too stressful of a point. And that's kind of the only time that I'm really working with the family instead of just being outside of it.
Well, I'm glad you are there whenever Arlene does come to you. Now, Arlene, why is it so difficult for you to let Tom know?
Well, I think there's a lot of different things that, you know, just a lot of things that I feel related to like my ex-husband. He really adds a lot of stress to my life. You know, he's the father of my daughters, but he doesn't really ever want to step up and help me take care of them. So I do feel like I'm a single parent. You know, he's very inconsistent and wishy-washy, and he's not always there. And then with Tom, you know, even though he is great and he does want to help sometimes, I don't know if the girls need a stepfather. You know, I had a stepfather growing up, and he really just tried to come in and take over our family, and it just was not a good situation. And I can't help but feel like the same thing might happen if I let Tom in.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like you're a little bit worried that the past might come back into incorporating your family. Okay, that's very understandable, and thank you for sharing.